Experience the pleasures and terrors of me destroying a roll of Adox Color Mission 200, kind of.
In a surprise advancement to the International Color Film Race, Adox releases its Color Mission film. This limited edition film is a 200 ISO wonder. Unfortunately, it is rare and hard to find. However, thanks to the efforts of a heroic CountSnackula, we have 2 rolls.
Sorry about that. Today we're loading Adox Color Mission. For my inaugural roll of Adox Color Mission, I actually went out for a rare golden hour sunset shoot. I wanted to contrast the bright colors she was wearing with the warm and neutral colors of the environment in this kind of gritty urban area. I'm gonna kind of design you into the corner, so I probably have you on this side.
Okay, shades off.
Shades off, yeah. For those who don't know, Adox is a German company, and they basically build their company off of previous patents and technologies that were sold off or from companies that had folded and surplused various aspects of their businesses. One of their long-term goals has been to create a new consumer-grade color film, and we're just cutting to the chase, and right here we're going to see my first Color Mission shot. Color Mission is the film that came out of the early parts of the efforts to make this new color film. Essentially, this film was created with a company that produced it that went bankrupt. So this batch of film was basically a one-off, and they don't currently have the ability to make more, but they have a pretty good amount of it. As I mentioned earlier, Nick Gaylord, aka CountSnackula, picked up some rolls of this and actually sold it to me at cost, which was awesome because there's almost no way I would have gotten this film without somebody helping. The mission in Color Mission is that this film is being released as a sort of Kickstarter. The sales from this will fuel the actual creation of a permanent color film. I'm gonna stop right about there. I'm trying to get at the very top of your head. It should probably be noted that anything you buy from Adox basically contribute to their ability to hopefully create a new color film. Which also I should mention that these light leaks were not created by Adox or Color Mission. You will see where those came from in just a minute. But essentially, I am really pleased with the color that you get out of this film. There's definitely a more consumer level saturation and color palette, as in it's not as smooth or pastel or desaturated as a Portra, for example, and the grain is definitely more present, but it's not bad. And I've said before that I think grain is kind of good now. We've kind of graduated from the days of searching permanently for the smallest grain ever, and now we actually invite it. That said, I don't find Color Mission's grain to be intrusive at all. It's good.
So what are you doing? This is for your YouTube?
It is. Yep. Thing from Adox. Oh crap, I forgot to rewind it. It's okay. I just put some cool light leaks on the last shot, which is actually kind of neat. A little bit more than the last shot, but it mostly worked for a lot of these, I think. I only lost maybe 1 or 2 frames. Anyway, shallow was great to work with, but I also wanted to use my second roll of Color Mission to shoot not at sunset, because I shoot a lot of like midday or subprime lighting, so we're about to check that out.
Reserved for future missions, other reaches to other different voids.
Okay, this fits in, I promise. So I can't really talk about color film or shooting new color film, or even when I shoot color film, without bringing up the current spike in prices, not in new color film, yes, that's a thing for another video, but in expired color film especially. I like how the wind's catching, it's making a great shape. I was trying to tell her that the wind catching onto her jacket made a cool shape. It's two-dimensional thinking, I guess, which is how you think of composition. So there's a little bit of art guidance for you, I guess. But yeah, if it weren't for my patrons, I would have a much harder time doing this and much less motivation, so thank you. You can join for as little as $1 a month, which is definitely not what expired film costs these days. This does tie in with the different colors and especially the pronounced grain of Color Mission. It used to be that film was all about the finest grain possible. It was an endless chase for years to get finer and finer grain. So we wanted extreme clarity, and now we have that with digital. So what a lot of people are looking for now is imperfection, something that's not so clinical. And film offers that in spades, or can. I mean, it can be extremely, almost grainless, but it can also be very boulder-sized grain, depending on what you do. So a fold in that is that expired film offers a lot of these imperfections often built in, with less predictability even than normally shooting film in comparison to digital, which is really cool and really fun, as you see in these Portra 160NC shots. If you'll excuse the Polaroids, I just wanted to toss in there too. But what was so accessible and great about expired film is that it could almost always be bought way cheaper than new film. So you could always experiment, always have fun with it, and it was lower risk, which went with its also higher volatility, the chance that you might just have a total dud roll that's completely blank. But with new film dropping off the market and then the increased difficulty and supply chain things, we're starting to see expired film just skyrocket in price, sometimes above what you would pay for new film, which is just crazy to me because it's so unpredictable. And if you like kind of big grain or ugly colors or something, I think you should just probably like leave your film in your car during summer. But I think that would get you somewhere there for at least the new film price. But you shouldn't pay a premium for expired film unless maybe it's been refrigerated and you know it. That can help preserve the film.
It was all harnessed, sharpened to a fine edge, developed and matured. And even the old hands, the hardened veterans of the space program, couldn't help but feel the awe and wonder and excitement.
So that brings us to Adox Color Mission 200. How does one make a color film in 2022? Or whenever they're able to hopefully make a new color film. What do you want to do? The last new color emulsion I really recall coming out was Portra 160 and 400 after they combined the VC and NC lines, or ended them, I guess. And those were made to be very pastel, very desaturated, very fine grain, good for scanning, and primarily aimed at wedding photographers. I don't think the wedding industry is any longer the primary mover in the film photography space. Even the revival of Ektachrome, aimed at cleanness and fine grain and perfect color rendition, which is all great, but I think the average film shooter now enjoys things that you don't get out of a perfect digital sensor, and the photography industry needs to embrace that. While it's easy to get lost in, oh, film is imperfect and messed up and everything, and not realize that actually it can be all of those things. We also need to remember that it does excel at being imperfect, and we should make film that reflects that. This is where we began the video, and this should have been where it ends, except I accidentally deleted the footage. And now we continue our look at the final shots I got on Adox Color Mission 200. It displays a lot of the qualities of consumer films, which photographers increasingly prefer, not only because of the price, but also because of the grainy, organic, non-digital feeling it can give naturally. And I think Color Mission excels at that, and I hope whatever film they can come up with that stems from this can capture this kind of look or something extremely similar to it, because I found it to be wholly satisfying and enjoyable to shoot, and I hope I get to shoot more for sure. I feel like on reviews, especially like on YouTube and stuff, or the internet in general, people want like pixel peeping or grain peeping and color charts and this and that, and so you're getting some close-ups of the grain, and then here's some 160NC for comparison, and this one is, oh, I'm sorry, that's rice. Anyway, I don't think that stuff matters. I mean, it does to a degree, and if you're a professional, it does. So I think I shot it when I normally shoot photos or in normal situations, and I wanted to see how it looked when I actually take photos and not just, you know, test charts or ideal situations. So that's how I used my 2 rolls of Adox Color Mission 200. Hopefully their mission is successful, and I support it, and I will definitely be buying more rolls if I'm able to.
That needed not only protection but understanding.
So hopefully this provided any kind of insight into that. If you enjoyed what you see, please like and subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.